Okay, we'll get this March 16th County Board of Education meeting called to order at 7:01. Roll call of members, please.
Mr. Dick?
Here.
Mr. Ledley?
Here.
Ms. Stryker?
Yes.
Mr. Albert?
Yes.
Mr. Carmine?
Yes. Okay, we're going to do the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, need approval or correction to the minutes of February 17th meeting. Can I have a motion, please?
Albert?
And a second?
Ledley.
Thank you. Vote, please.
Mr. Ledley?
Yes.
Mr. Carmine?
Yes.
Mr. Dick?
Yes.
Oh, sorry.
No.
Mr. Albert?
Mr. Albert.
Yes.
I did that wrong.
Okay, thank you for that. Item 4, principal supervisor reports. I don't think we have anything
4 and 5
tonight for that.
are not on tonight.
Okay, not on tonight. We didn't have anybody sign up for public participation.
No.
Okay. Moving on to 6, reports of the treasurer. Tracy, anything we needed to highlight on that you sent
As
us?
soon as you...
After we make a motion.
Yeah, that's right.
I need a motion, please.
Ledley.
Thank you. Second?
Albert?
Thank you. Any discussion?
Just updating in your budget versus actual, you can see that we are running $400,000 ahead of last year. That would be approximately $250,000 in more income than last year, and $150,000 less in capital expenses, because we have moved those to the permanent improvement fund. I did get the tax settlement today, and that is also up this time. And I sent an email to Mike Bacon, and he said that's because there were a lot more people that paid their full amount
Up front.
up front, rather than waiting to pay the other half in July.
Okay,
So we should see a drop in July.
in July. Okay, any other discussion? Okay, let's go ahead and have a vote, please.
Mr. Albert?
Yes.
Mr. Carmine?
Yes.
Mr. Ledley?
Yes.
Okay, number 7, superintendent's report and communications.
So I'm just going to do 3 things. The first one is remind everyone to check our website and social media pages. So as things change, we make updates. And so if you need the most accurate information, if you check our website, we do a pretty good job of trying to get those updates out every day. The second thing I want to talk about is school lunches. That information is also available on the website, but this is the key part that I want people to understand. If you have a child in your home, age 1 through 18, they are allowed to get one of our lunches at the pickup spot. So we have 5 spots that we're picking up lunches, and all you have to do is sign up using a link, and we will get their lunches to them and make sure they're at the site between 12 and 1. And the sites and all those things are on the website. The other thing just to make sure is if you don't have access to a computer or to the internet to be able to fill out that survey so that we can document your lunches, just call the district office. That phone number is 419-673-0775, and we'll make sure that your lunches are available. So do not let your kids go without food. We'll make sure they get it. Just let us know. The second thing is about education, because that's what we do. So even though the kids are home, we want them to learn. So we're doing a kind of a blended model. So for anyone that has access to internet and to maybe to a device, I know the elementary school was helping with getting some kids' devices tonight. You can go online. There's directions on the website. I'll let Ryan talk a little bit about that here in a minute. And you can complete your daily lessons online. You can have interaction with your teachers and do all those kinds of things. If you do not have access, we have paper copies of everything. And for the first week, we're asking those to be picked up And that would be, today it was at the schools, and then tomorrow it will be here at the district office. But remember, we're asking that you call and let us know that you're coming so that we can have everything ready. But I'm really proud of what Ryan Collins did for our district. He only had 4 days notice to get the entire district up and running on an online learning platform. He made tons of resources for teachers, checklists, and trained basically the entire staff today on how to make all that. And so Ryan, we're really proud of your work. And Jody did an outstanding job to make sure that everything was aligned to standards and that we weren't losing any momentum in what we're able to offer. So 2 people that have really done a fantastic job. So Ryan, if you tell a little bit about how to do everything.
I didn't really dress up, but there's no one here anyway. So, when did it start? The rumors were Thursday, and then the rumors started Thursday morning, and then the announcement was Thursday afternoon. So that's when I started working. I started working on Thursday, but we put together an entire website with, there's 3 links on it, student resources, parent resources, and then staff resources. So I was telling all the staff today at the elementary school, I didn't make it to the middle school or high school, they were on their own. The address is go.kcs.me/keeplearning. That's what I told everybody. If you need to go to a link, if you need to find something, everything's under go.kcs.me/keeplearning. So I was just helping, a kindergarten teacher was having issues with this parent logging in, and I have an idea of why that is. Luckily, I have a help sheet already on there to help that parent figure out, okay, this is why my child can't sign into Google Classroom. So it's a collection of, and the student side and the parent side, I've still got to build on more because I'm not a machine. But the teacher side is pretty good to start with a lot of resources for them to get going. And the main goal for this week was just to have some resources to help them get online. We put together this, what we did in 4 days would be a district planning on going online. It would take about a year to do the training with the teachers, to set up all the sites that they need access to. We are lucky that we have very willing teachers, because I helped a bunch of them today that they were excited to do it. They were very apprehensive, but they were still excited, so that's good. And that we have the technology to allow this. We distributed 275 laptops at the elementary school because those students don't get to take them home, to help make sure everybody has equipment. We are talking to, so I've been spending the last 4 days talking to other tech coordinators. What are you guys doing? How are you guys doing this? And we are in a lot better position than a lot of them, just because we have the equipment and we have the staff that can use it effectively. I was talking to Mrs. Penzarski before the meeting that in the next week or so, we need to figure out how we're going to evaluate the successfulness of the program, find out what worked, what didn't work, because I feel trial by fire. I got excited because just do it. There was no thinking. You just had to do it, and we'll deal with the aftermath later because you just didn't have time. So this would help us immensely in the future, because now teachers can, okay, I can assign work online and we can do more stuff and keep that learning going all the day long. So I'm pretty tired. You guys got any questions? I'm not. Because
Have you slept at all?
Yeah, I've been getting a few hours a night. How many did I get last night? 5 or 6, I don't know. So, yeah, that first night I couldn't. Thursday night, part of it was I was pretty excited because, you know, tech is not thrust to the forefront like it did with all of this. So I couldn't sleep. I got up at 3. I was up at 3 a.m. Friday morning. So I was excited to get it going. But. So now we'll see. Yeah, Sheena really likes that. So now this next week is just to get everybody up to speed, and then second week, hopefully, we can go. We have about 50 more laptops to distribute that they signed up and they haven't picked it up. We don't know why yet, so we got to figure that out, and we'll do it. So.
Thank
and-
you, Ryan.
Ryan,
And-
thanks for your
oh.
dedication.
Yeah, thank you, Ryan.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Ryan.
And I was telling Jennifer also.
Send me that email link by any chance?
What did Justin
Can
say?
you send Justin the email link, the go to?
Yeah, yeah.
I couldn't really hear him. I heard some of it, and I just want to have it just so I don't forget.
Perfect.
Yeah, I'll email it. And the link, I should have said this. If you go to the Kenton City Schools website, I have it right at the top. We have the COVID-19 information, the announcement that we're closed, and then I have the online learning resources. So even if you don't know the link, if you just go to the website, you'll get a link to that.
Awesome, thank you.
Yeah.
Great work, Ryan, great.
Thanks. Yeah, I told Jennifer that since Disney World closed, they're my dream of getting a cheap flight to Disney World and working online at Disney World, so. Thanks, guys.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Ryan.
Ryan.
We have a really good team. So the team has been on the phone many, many times in the last 4 days about many topics, including the food and the lunches, and so we're proud of our people. We have good people.
Awesome, great, thanks so much. That's it for you there? Okay, we'll move on to item 8, board committee reports. Finance? Brandon, I think that's you, buddy.
Yeah, on the bond refunding update, we're gonna go ahead and move forward with that, correct?
Yes.
So in doing so, there's gonna be a pretty substantial amount in the cash flow savings of over $1 million, $1,124,568.
Well, that was the number at March
Yeah,
3rd.
that was March 3rd, that was at the date
So
of
that
that.
could fluctuate,
And
right?
the
It will
rates
fluctuate.
went
Will
down
fluctuate.
again,
Yeah,
So-
rates went down again, so that-
Okay,
so we could even save
that's-
more.
yeah, usually it's gonna be more, absolutely.
right, but that's good, okay.
Good opportunity for the
Yes.
district there.
And so I think even with that though too, like the cash flow percentage savings, that'll go up too probably as well, right? So that's, okay. And then the, summer projects that the facility committee had presented, those are all being approved once then.
Yes.
And that was,
Okay.
that was, 200,000.
Approximately, yeah.
Approximately. Okay. All right, thanks. Facilities.
We had our meeting March 5th. We need some landscaping that needs to be done at KHS and KMS. It creates a safety issue, so we're gonna get it pulled by August 10th and have it looking acceptable there. We're looking at getting screens for the entranceways for the KHS, KMS, and KES and Oakley. We're working through the design process with the principals. A few summer projects I was gonna work on. Some brickwork needs done at the high school. Some roofing. Looks like the athletics, we have the tennis courts need to be paved. We're getting a new pool ball. We're talking about getting a new scoreboard at the football field. And the bleachers, the high school bleachers and basketball court, we're gonna repair some cracks on there.
Okay. All right, thanks. Extracurricular, did they meet?
Yeah,
Okay. Is that you too?
yeah.
I think one of the biggest topics was the scoreboard.
Yeah, I think that's number 2.
Do you wanna elaborate?
As far as the scoreboard?
Sure. So, and tell me if I'm wrong because I don't have it in front of me, but I think it's about 110,000. Is that roughly right for the scoreboard? And there are means to sell advertisement on the scoreboard, and so that advertisement would help pay for the new scoreboard. And if you're not aware, our scoreboard has been barely functioning for a very long time. I'm not sure that the reader part of it has ever worked since I've been here. And so what they're planning on doing is going out and trying, there's really 8 big spots on that scoreboard, and hoping that Brett Purcell can get that together, and that we would be able to have a new scoreboard up by August when we started. That's the real goal, but he was gonna contact the distributor and talk about how we could possibly raise money to help support that cost, but it's definitely a need.
Oh, yeah. A couple more things here. There's a full JV and varsity, I'm assuming you're able to play these sports. There's a full JV and varsity for baseball. We're just gonna run a varsity for softball this year. We have club baseball for 7th and 8th grade, and girls softball for 7th and 8th grade. And it looks like we have we'll have a freshman football team as well. And then she touched on the scoreboard there, so.
I think Sam brought up the part too about, and you did too, I think, Jennifer, about the majority of that will probably be able to be paid for by those
Yeah.
funds.
We have a very big community, which is
Right.
awesome to have that, so I feel like that's not gonna be too big
I
of a
don't
deal.
think it'll be a problem.
Okay, great. Thanks, guys. Last is the policy committee.
Justin, do you wanna talk about policy, or? Are you,
I can, I guess, a little bit, but I don't have everything in front of me to discuss, so.
it's
Doug,
okay.
Can
If
I
you just-
defer to you this week, Doug?
Yeah, we can do it together. We'll all work together. So the policy committee met. We had what was recommended from Neola, which are just basically the updates so that we're aligned. Then we always do a couple policies. I know there's an additional policy we noticed we had missing, so we made sure that got added. And then we had a discussion about, currently we have an extracurricular handbook that covers athletics and everything outside of the school day. But we're gonna separate those two because it needed some revision. And so Brett has worked to develop an athletic code of conduct. And then I think I have the responsibility of drafting the extracurricular code of conduct. But I think in the next month, or maybe more like May, 2 months, we'll get to see those codes of conduct, and then that would become part of final form. So any athlete that was doing a sport throughout the entire year, they would sign off on all those regulations. And a lot of the reason we needed to separate it was because OHSAA has a lot of specific rules for athletics. And although we have pretty rigorous standards for extracurriculars, there's just not the law behind it, if that makes sense, with regard to there are certain specific things we have to follow when it comes to the High School Athletic Association. So I think that will cover all the policies that are on the agenda tonight.
I think you're right.
All right. Okay, let's go ahead and move on to 9. We don't have any old business, so we'll move on to new business.
I move to suspend board policy number 0167 and any related policies for purpose of allowing board members participating by telephone to vote during tonight's meeting.
Okay, thanks for that. We need a second on that motion.
But
All right, and then let's go ahead and we need to have a vote.
Mr. Albert,
Yes.
Mr. Carmine,
Yes.
Mr. Ledley.
yes.
So just to kind of be clear, what just happened for everyone is that now our 2 phone-in people, Ms. Stryker and Mr. Dick, are now able to vote at this meeting because they were unable to be here.
Okay. Item 10, it's personal items. Anybody have any, I guess if we look through that, it looks like we've got a volunteer list, some contingent, I think substitutes, some medical leave for Miss Mag. Looks like a couple hires. Anything in there that we need to highlight? I see these. 10M, that's a long list on 10, guys. If you take a look, that's a lot of the non-renewals for employees and non-employee supplemental contracts.
And that's normal.
And that is a normal thing.
Perfectly
Happens
normal. We do it every
right?
year, and then next month you're gonna get the big long list of hiring people.
Absolutely. Okay, could I have a motion to accept, please?
Ledley.
Ridley, and a second?
Dick.
I got Albert there first. Thanks, Justin. Let's go ahead and have a vote, please.
Mr. Carmine?
Yes.
Mr. Dick?
If you said Dick, yes.
Yes. Mr. Ledley?
Yes.
Ms. Stryker?
Yes.
Mr. Albert?
Yes.
Okay. Item 11, authorizations and resolutions. Approval of the calendar change moves to all staff professional development day on March 22nd. We did approve the following category 2 requests. That's the Kent Coral Boosters. And then the 11C, or the policies, I think probably puts us in line with the Neola requirements. We do have an approval contract on there for the internet access between Western Ohio, court management of the Kent City School Workers Compensation Group. That must be for the coating of the tennis courts, yes. And then some masonry repair and some roofing repairs. I think that's kind of what you guys talked about in your meeting. So I need to have a motion to accept, please.
Stryker.
Thank you, Sheena. A second? Albert. And then we need a vote, please.
And just to point out that we do have the resolution to move forward with refinancing the bond
Oh, yes.
in there.
And the only one that I just want to bring up to make sure everyone knows is last month I said that we were going to maybe reduce hours and add a professional development day. We did another survey and asked if we could move a March professional development day to September, so none of the instructional hours for students were changed. So we had, I think I sent you that survey result, so, and I want to say it was 58% or so that wanted just to move the day and not change instructional hours or add professional development hours. So we're just going to make that date.
Yes.
Mr. Ledley?
Yes.
Ms. Stryker?
Yes.
Mr. Albert?
Yes.
Mr. Carmine?
Yes. Item 12, we're going to do a new item 12 there. I would like to make a motion to pass the resolution just provided by the Ohio Department of Health. And I would ask for a second for that, please.
Stryker.
Dick.
I got Albert there first.
Got lots of options.
That was in stereo.
Yeah, this is working really well. Got all kinds of motions going on.
Let's have a discussion. Jen, you want to clarify?
People, telephone voting, and that was approved, that was allowed. So, but our policy said we weren't allowed. So this is kind of, maybe think of it as a universal resolution that gives us permission to do what we're required to do given the state that we're in. Now, once that state of emergency is lifted, we would go back to our board policy. Does that make sense? So we're only working within the scope of what we're allowed to do based on the current situation. Does that make sense to everyone? And it's a kind of a 4-paragraph thing, but I won't take your time if you're comfortable with the summary. Gives Tracy and I the authority.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay, if no further discussion, we need to have a vote for that, please.
Mr. Ledley?
Yes.
Ms. Stryker?
Yes.
Mr. Albert?
Yes.
26. Next regular Board of Education meeting will be held on